On today's show,
Can you believe it? The Cavaliers have fired head coach David Blatt. We'll break down the fallout.
it's Throwback Worst of the Week. We reminisce over Kobe's special night. Sorry, Toronto.
And we've got a little bit of everything in this week's action-packed Top 10.
It's Friday, January 22nd. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to the starters. Shout out to everyone joining us live on NBA TV or everyone watching a little bit later on YouTube. We're happy to have you. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tess Mellis.
This is why we don't pre-record.
To his right, it's the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lele.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, it's starters blog editor, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Yo, TK, what's up?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters. And as y'all know, Winter Storm Jonas is the biggest thing in the news right now, crushing the East Coast and causing the cancellation of the Wizards and Sixers games tomorrow. But there is one NBA player who doesn't mind a little precipitation, and that's former point guard Eric Snow.
Right.
But I did a little digging, and it turns out there's a lot more NBA bros who love the winter weather. What about Stephen Fleury?
Yep.
Or former Wizards draft pick Rod Blizzard?
Yep.
Don't forget about Hall of Famer Kevin McHale. And hey, we even have a winter weather fan here in studio. It's your friend and mine, J.E. Sleets.
Yeah. Well, I got the We the North sweater on.
Yeah, man, you look tough, actually, to be honest with you. But this is where you come in. What's your favorite NBA winter weather? Tweet us your best answers at #TheStarters. We'll see them a bit later, and please be safe out there.
All right, everyone, be safe. Keep those tweets coming, though. All right, we got an action-packed show. We got Worst of the Week. We got Top 10. And we had a very interesting afternoon. Breaking news, of course, this afternoon. The Cleveland Cavaliers have fired head coach David Blatt. His dismissal comes one season after taking the Cavs to the finals, and with Cleveland leading the East with a 30-11 record. Crazy, crazy stuff. Here is Cavs GM David Griffin, who had strong words about his decision to move on from David Blatt.
We are a team, unfortunately, that struggles more than any good team I've ever been with, and this is my 24th year in the NBA, with prosperity. I've never seen a locker room not be as connected after wins as they need to be. We've only been galvanized when expectations were not high. We've been a group of tremendous individual talent with individual hopes and dreams. That's not a winning formula.
Former NBA player, top assistant to Blatt, Tyronn Lue. He's going to take over as the head coach for the Cavs. No interim on that as well. Could be for a couple years, reportedly maybe even a multi-year deal. Again, bit of a wild afternoon. Not many people saw this coming. What do you think about the Cavs' decision to fire David Blatt today?
I think it has to be because LeBron doesn't like David Blatt. I find it difficult to believe that they would hire David Blatt a year and a half ago. Their first year, David Blatt goes to the NBA Finals. They win 2 games against the Golden State Warriors without Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. Mm-hmm. And then to fire him when they're the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They've lost 11 games, but 3 have been to Golden State and San Antonio, and 2 of them were extremely close.
Right.
You know, I don't want to break down each and every game. Brian Windhorst reports that LeBron was not consulted, but at the same time, Adrian Wojnarowski reports that LeBron and his agent Rich Paul have advocated for Lue since last season. So do you really need to even talk to LeBron to make this deal?
Right.
I find it very difficult to believe that you wouldn't give a guy a second chance after going to the NBA Finals if your lead guy doesn't believe in him. I think that's exactly why it happened. It really doesn't make any sense. LeBron was brought in after David Blatt. I don't think David Blatt is a LeBron guy. Kevin Love is a LeBron guy. I think Kevin Love is going to stick around, and Tyronn Lue is a LeBron guy. It all makes sense from that standpoint.
David Griffin, the general manager, was pretty adamant in his press conference this afternoon saying he didn't consult LeBron.
He kept saying it was his decision.
Yeah,
His decision.
He's owning this. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't, through back channels, get LeBron's input on this decision, because I don't think you make a decision like this unless you consult the best player on your team, who, remember, has got an option coming out of this season for his contract.
Of course.
I don't think LeBron's leaving. That's a whole different conversation for another day. But I think that David Griffin, about this time last year, more or less, was when he made that big move to get the trade of bringing in Shumpert and J.R. Smith. And I think he felt, after watching the last week when they lost to the San Antonio Spurs and the Warriors, that they are still a fair way behind those two teams, and he had to do something. They can't really afford to make another trade, a big splash in that area. So that means that David Blatt, logically, is the next step they have to take, and he was the guy who went down today.
Yeah, I agree with Tass here, though, because this isn't really what's happening in the win-loss column here. I mean, or a ton of other metrics when it comes to how good this team is. top 5 offense, right there defense and point differential. Of course, one of the better teams in the league, just with the 30 wins. It is a thing to me that happened right from the get-go when, oh wow, they suddenly ended up with LeBron after having David Blatt. And I think it's sort of been the worst kept secret that this is, that Blatt sort of has this locker room. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Lou has it way more. To some extent, he may have already been in a way coaching this team, and that's why, and I think Dave Griffin talked about this a little bit, this is sort of an easy transition to go to Lou. Now, whether or not Lou has never been an NBA head coach in this league. I mean, look, he was learned his offense under Doc Rivers, his defense under Tom Thibodeau. I mean, so he's learned from the best of them.
Yeah.
But it's a little different beast when you're actually the head coach, right?
This scene on Monday at the end of the Warriors game, the fourth quarter, when LeBron was talking to Tyronn Lue and seemingly complaining about something, is what people are pointing to say, well, I mean,
sealed it.
That's what sealed David Blatt's firing, and that he is in love with Tyronn Lue as his head coach.
We've heard that Tyronn Lue for a long time is a highly regarded assistant coach. A lot of people think he was going to be a head coach at some point.
He was the highest paid assistant in the league
but
for a
I
long
don't think
time.
this is how he still wanted his first opportunity as a head coach to come about, because he doesn't have a chance to put in his own system from a pre-season and from a summer. And so now he has to win immediately, because they're in win now mode. He hasn't got any time. He hasn't got a honeymoon period where he can sort of figure things out. They have to start winning straight away, keep it up, and they have to basically change the way they were playing as well, which is a difficult thing to do when you're a new head coach. So he's under a lot of pressure.
The timing is what's shocking about this, because it's, they get killed by Golden State on MLK Day, but then they come back and they stomp the Nets, they take care of the Clippers, they've won 11 of their last 13. That's what's odd about this. It's not like they sort of go on this 4 or 5 game lull, they're dropping games they shouldn't. I mean, they're dropping games they should, because they're playing some of the better teams in your Spurs and the Warriors over the last couple weeks, but they're taking care of business against everyone else. That's what's confusing about the timing.
And that this is a championship level team willing to turn its coach over in the middle of the year. Which team in history has won a championship when firing their coach in the middle of the season?
The Heat.
The Miami Heat. The
Miami
last
Heat
team to do it was
2006.
Stan Van Gundy resigning and Pat Riley
but
taking
you had
over.
a championship coach come down and say, all right.
Well, that's true. That's the difference here.
Yeah.
Pat Riley had already won multiple championships with the Lakers, so he had the experience, and he was also the GM of the team at the time. So
That's what's a little surprising to me. To me, this means that Kevin Love isn't going anywhere, because I don't think they make this huge move and have to bring in Tyronn Lue, have to undergo all of that, and then go trade Kevin Love and have to deal with another huge roster change. I think, as I mentioned before, Kevin Love is LeBron's guy. They sat by the pool. They sat and they decided, all right, you coming back? You with me? We're going to do it. LeBron is cool with Kevin Love. I feel that. But David Blatt was not under was not part of that same clique.
I think, though, Kevin Love we're going to see a big difference in him now, because I think he and David Blatt didn't necessarily see eye to eye, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Cavs have struggled a little bit, because he's struggled a little bit since a great start to the season, and I think that Tyronn Lue has to find a way to get him going, because he's an all-star player, but he hasn't been producing at that level in the last few weeks.
It was fascinating, though, to hear a GM talk about his team, again, 30-11, and all he kept coming back to was he's in the locker room after the games, after they win.
Yeah.
And he's looking around going, this isn't, in his opinion, David Griffin I'm speaking of course, this isn't how a team should be acting when you're winning all these games.
Yeah.
Like,
Hard to disagree, though.
What's the vibe going on in that locker room, despite, again, being still one of the better teams? That's what's shocking to me, or
Well,
interesting.
Love has called out LeBron. LeBron called out Love, and to me, it just it shows you the difference between the Cavs and the Heat. With the Heat, Spoelstra, maybe they didn't like him right at first, but he had the backing of Pat Riley.
Yes.
With this, it's LeBron has the backing of whoever is at the top of the food chain. So to me, it just seems like they don't necessarily know that they have to respect what David Blatt wants. I think they're probably going to like Tyronn Lue a little bit better, just because he's kind of handpicked.
Yeah, I just find it, again, it's January. This team is on pace for 60 wins. Kyrie Irving has played in about a third of the games. Mozgov's been hurt. Shumpert's been hurt. They didn't have their starting backcourt for a long time. You'd think David Blatt would get a second shot at a playoffs after he went to the finals without his starting guys. It just would seem logical.
I guess if your entire team hates showing up to work for this guy every day, then a decision had to be made, and that's what David Griffin did.
Change the craft table or something.
All right, we got lots more still to come. When we come back, Pass's worst of the week goes retro. We'll explain that in a second.
All right, this is the point of the week where we hand out the dishonor to someone in the NBA family that has done wrong in the eyes of the starters. It's time for Worst of the Week.
Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
This week's worst of the week is me for this shirt. I kid. This week's worst of the week has nothing to do with the past 7 days. It's a retroactive dishonor. Goes to the Raptors for what happened 10 years to the day. January 22nd, 2006, Kobe Bean Bryant scored 81 versus Toronto in a Lakers win. In a piece written by Arash Markazi of ESPN, the players involved said Kobe got into rhythm and wasn't taken out of it. Raptors small forward Jalen Rose claimed Toronto started in a 2-3 zone, and because no one was pressuring passes or contesting shots closely, Kobe got in a groove. Rose thought it was best to let LA's number 2 and number 3 leading scorers, Lamar and Smush Parker, try and beat them. Then Toronto head coach and current Wolves interim head coach Sam Mitchell defended the decision when we talked to him this week.
I remember that we were winning the game early in the fourth quarter. And so when people were asking questions like, why didn't you just send 3 people at Kobe? Well, we're not going to sit there and just give up dunks and layups, But we played a boxing 1, we played triangle 2, we played some zone. We did everything we thought humanly possible we could do to try to slow Kobe down. And the thing that I would say about that game is that it took all 81 of those points for Kobe to beat us. If he would have had 65, we would have won the game comfortable.
The Raptors were up for most of the game, and Sam Mitchell told his guys he can score 100. I don't care, as long as we win. But late in the third, Kobe started scorching even by Kobe standards. He had 26 at half, but his 27 in the third alone gave LA the lead going into the fourth. Then it was over. He was in a Blake Griffin-like zone. Another 28 in the fourth gave him 81 and his team the victory. He later told Markazi, "I should have had 90 or more. There were many opportunities I missed." Kobe Bean Bryant. The Raptors, retroactively, your worst of the week.
Oh, wow. I like it.
He had hit 62 free throws and was in a row and was mad at himself that he missed a couple. Should have had 90.
10 years to the day. Lee, what do you remember from the game? Were you in Melbourne still at the time?
I was in Melbourne with my old friend Eight Toes, actually. Yeah, we were.
Hold on, just so everyone knows, you have a friend with 8 toes.
Yeah, he looks like 10, but some of them are webbed together there. But we were out in the morning because it was the next day.
You were out swimming,
Yeah, probably. It was the middle of summer, and I looked on the internet, and I said to Eight Toes, "Did you see Kobe?" And he's like, "What?" And I said, "He scored 81 points today," and he issued an expletive in my direction. He didn't believe me, and then he had to check it and check it for himself. He thought I was pulling his toe.
So many 8s. Number 8, Kobe Bryant. 8 toes, 81 points.
It's cosmic.
It's honestly too bad we didn't have Twitter back then, because I wasn't watching this game while it was happening. I caught the replay, but this is the kind of thing that would have blown up Twitter. You remember when Klay Thompson went for 37 in a quarter? This is like that 3 times.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. Tass and I, of course, being Raptors fans, I remember watching this game because it was an action-packed Sunday. This was like a conference football Sunday, so no one really cared. The Raps stunk at the time. The Lakers were about a 500 squad, so no one was watching a 3:30 West Coast Raps-Lakers game.
Jack Nicholson wasn't even there. There were literally no A-list celebrities there.
That's so spewing that he wasn't there for everything.
The biggest celebrity there was Andy Dick, apparently, in attendance.
He's huge, though.
A couple things about this game that are sort of crazy. You would think when a guy scores 81 that he's hot right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And Kobe really wasn't. I mean, he had something like 26 at the half, and Tass said it. Then he goes for 55 in the second half. That's bonkers. And then it's also strange that they're trailing for a huge part of this game. But when you look at who the Lakers had, you had Kobe, you had Lamar Odom, who was great, but in this game shot 1 of 7, and then Kwame Brown, Chris Mim, Smush Parker.
Wow.
I mean,
Literally
it's
the guys
no
that people bring up when you're making fun of the bad guys Lakers Kobe played with.
That's exactly right. So it's almost no surprise. I mean, he just got in his zone, and everything Sam Mitchell and the Raptors did, they couldn't stop. He was getting, and Kobe's talked about this, he was getting to anywhere he wanted to on the floor. It's pretty incredible.
Those names were the reason why Kobe was in all those rumors that summer about the Chicago Bulls. Right? That was the summer.
All right, here's a fun question, sort of far-fetched, but who do you think in today's game has the best chance at matching or surpassing a Kobe-like 81-point game? Who comes to mind?
Steph Curry.
Okay.
I mean, that's a pretty obvious choice, I think, for me. Like, he's had 50 already this year. He's had 6 40s. He's had 5 games where he has had 5 threes in 20 games this season, 5 or more. And he's had 5 20-point quarters.
Right.
I honestly think if Steph goes really selfishly for it one night, he could hit 15 or 16 threes.
Yeah.
And then go for it. I mean,
Sure.
it's not certainly without the realm of possibility.
I would say the one problem with Steph Curry is he doesn't get to the line a ton, and that's something that you got to do. The top
Yeah.
5 scoring games in NBA history all went to the line at least 20 times, and that's why I think Kevin Durant is a pretty good choice because that guy gets to the line a ton, and he can score over anyone, through anyone, around anyone. Got crazy range. I agree with Steph Curry is a great choice, but the good thing about Durant is he's got the height to get inside. You know, he's getting those buckets, making points happen while the clock's not even moving. That's,
Well,
a
that's the
huge
other
part
thing.
of getting on
Yeah.
top.
I think Curry, I think most people would pick Curry, Durant. Those are great picks. I think James Harden would be on most
yeah.
people's list too
Yeah.
because he gets to the line and he can hit the three. All right, guys, for lots more on the anniversary of Kobe's 81-point game, make sure you hit up NBA.com. They've got a 4-part video series from the game as well as interviews with so many people that were at the game or, of course, talking to Kobe about it. Great stuff from our friends over at NBA.com. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, this is a lot of fun. We got a great one this week. We're going to count down the top 10 plays of the week. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the starters. I hope old Eight Toes is watching.
No, he'll be watching for sure.
Good.
Doesn't miss a show.
Welcome back to the starters here on a Friday. We asked you earlier in the show to hit us up on Twitter with what's your favorite NBA winter weather? And we got some great responses from the fans out there. Trey.
A lot of great responses. I love this one from Nick Caguin, who says, since the game is canceled tomorrow, shout out to Philly with Nerlens Snowell.
That's good.
Love the way it flows.
Yeah.
I also like Inside Hoops, who says, shout out to the legendary Tex Winter.
Oh, good
Very
one.
nice.
Yeah.
And this man knows the key to my heart, Kevin Aquino with the Brad Miller.
Keep
You're
'em
gonna
coming.
get on the show if you mention Brad Miller.
All right, keep them coming. What's your favorite NBA winter weather? All right, guys, let's get to the top 10 plays of the week. The top 10 plays that made us celebrate, presented by
Ciroc!
Thanks, Tess. At number 10, it's Rondo driving the lane and pulling hard. He flushes it home on Ryan Kelly. True story, I went to school with a kid named Ryan Kelly. Got kicked out of class for playing with micro machines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, cool story, bro.
At number 9, Anthony Davis finishes a game
Oh,
in
yeah.
style.
He's rocking the rim on that one.
Oh boy, game
do
winning,
that every week.
Man.
game winning oop right there. 2 seconds remaining. We got to run this a little more often, I think.
Yeah.
Need to work.
At number 8, Heat rookie Josh Richardson down the lane, looking like Jason Richardson out here. Here's another cool little fact for you guys. Josh enjoys playing the classical piano.
Wow.
There you go.
Forget about that new age piano. At number 7, Giannis Antetokounmpo goes right through Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Get off me, and then the lefty finish.
You know, I went to high school with a kid named Giannis Antetokounmpo. JK, his name was Rick Antetokounmpo.
That is bully bull. At number 6, a couple of excellent plays from Will Barton. Look at this heads-up play off the tip. Got to beat the buzzer. He does it.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Same game, a little sexier. Give me the 360 layup
Nice.
in traffic. Will Barton having a highlight show here against the Pacers. And this was the same game where he dapped up a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Well,
What a
that's,
game.
that's the hat trick right
Great
there.
work by Dad getting that baby dap ready.
Yeah.
At number 5, Pau Gasol with a little spin
Oh, yeah.
and drop off to Derrick Rose. Giving,
Love it.
going, spinning,
That's
dropping.
nice. That's nice.
Very beautiful.
Little flair for
Yes.
That was the dream, that play right there. That was the dream of the Bulls.
Let's stick with Derrick Rose. It was a good week for D Rose. Look at him cross up the Aussie. Andrew Bogut, see you later.
Oh, yeah.
Now look, you're gonna say he didn't finish it. What does it matter? Well, actually he did finish because there was a goaltending called on the play. You're gonna see Draymond's hand get it there.
Hey, Bogut
Bad
got
call.
back in the play. That was nice.
Oh, yeah, Bogey got back and fouled him.
Yeah, that was nasty. That was nasty.
At number 3, just
yeah.
watch. No words needed. Kyrie dancing. James Harden getting out of the way. Good job. But that is beautiful stuff.
Look at the finish, though, as well. The other side of the rim, the hang time.
He beat 4 Rockets here.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. And last one.
We need a layup contest.
The last one.
All right, at number 2, I got 3 Westbrook dunks. I want you guys to judge them, okay?
10.
A 10, right away.
8.
8.8.
Yeah, I like 8. All right, here's the
this is a
next
10.
one. This one's, that's nasty.
I'm giving them all 8 for 8 toes.
The air is thinner and drier in Denver, and there's the U. What do you get this?
That's the standard one.
Yeah,
for
too
Westbrook. I still
standard.
give that a 9.
We didn't finish
I'm
with
a
the best.
generous.
Grader.
Not bad, not
I'm a
bad.
generous
Just had
grader.
his own dunk contest there.
At number 1, Rudy Gobert with a block.
Oh,
Number 1 play is a block this week
get out.
because of the Stifle Tower, the French rejection. Actually, he likes Gobzilla. the best, he told Zach.
That's
Lowe.
it. Yeah.
I like it.
That's not bad. All right, crazy top 10 this week. We got to take one more break, but when we come back, Lili's very solid play of the night. This play somehow didn't make the top 10.
He's looking at a photo of 8 toes right now.
Back with the starters, we asked you guys at the starters Twitter account whether you agreed with the Cavs firing David Blatt. 31% of you say yeah, 69% of you say no. So there you go. Lee, where are we going for very solid play, mate?
We're going to Denver, and we have a team double-ender from the Nuggets. It starts here. Look, Mike Conley, you think he's going for a layup. He gives it to Barnes, but no. Kenneth Faried comes back. Then Moutier fires it over to Danilo Gallinari for the three. That's how you transition in basketball, guys. Beautiful. Look at that block. Comes out of nowhere.
That was wild.
They kind of had
Block.
numbers, and he pulls up for a 3. But
Yeah,
whatever.
that's fine if you knock it in. That's beautiful. That's what I call a very solid play.
All right, good stuff, Lee. Oh, no! What are those?
What are toes?
There's a late toes!
no,
Get
no.
that off the screen!
I was
my
not
goodness.
expecting
Cut
that.
it! Cut it!
You'll have to take my word for it that he's got the full compliment
All
on
right,
his left.
look, I don't mean to disrespect the weekend here, but it's tough not to get excited about Monday. We got a great doubleheader here on NBA TV. We're sending Lee and his 2 thumbs, I should say, to Cleveland for the Wolves-Cavs game. And
2
then,
thumbs
of
and
course,
10 toes. Yeah.
the nightcap is fire, guys. It's San Antonio at Golden State, live on the network, NBA TV. This, of course, the first time Spurs and Warriors are playing each other this season. Can't wait. In Warriors news, we just learned today that Warriors coach Steve Kerr, he is returning to the bench. He announced this morning after shoot-around, he's going to coach the Dubs tonight in a home game against the Pacers. He told this to reporters, "What can you say about Luke? I thought maybe he'd go 40-3, but 39-4. We'll have to settle for that."
Yeah, he's ready to go.
It's already great to have
he's
Steve
dropping the
Kerr back.
zingers.
Already great to have Steve Kerr back. All right, guys, we recorded our 3rd super long podcast of the week. It is up on iTunes. It's up on Google Play. It's a normal drop. We actually talk a lot. This was before the David Blatt firing. So we talk a lot about the all-star starters, some of the surprises from the results that we saw on TNT last night. And we make our cases for some of the reserves, our early picks for reserves. We're going to have some fun on the TV show next week. We'll see if any of our picks change.
We're already changing them.
Over the weekend. So that, again, is up on iTunes, our website, Google Play. You can find it. Tons of podcasts from our 10-year anniversary this week. A lot of fun.
The thing I like about Steve Kerr news is that this is another rallying point for the Warriors. Not that they needed one, but they want to win on Monday. This is a big win for them.
It's going to be a huge game. Can't wait. We're back 5:30 on Monday.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, you should never have to look at that. That is disgusting.
No.
No.
Have a horrible weekend.